You thought I was old because of something else and the way I looked. I get it.
No, no,
Um,
no. I mean,
do
okay,
you,
let's
do
get
you
back to
draw?
art. Let's
Do
get
you
back to,
draw before you make the work? Do you ever
no,
draw the?
never.
No.
Do you draw?
Yeah, I
You
have
do.
to now. Yeah, I used to not. I used to be. It was more of an immaturity thing. It was more like I just didn't want to wait. I wanted to get in there and put color down as quickly as possible.
Why is that
Uh,
immature?
oh, because I had a lot of different ideas, and I think I could have refined things more had I taken a breath. I think a lot of the work that I've been successful with over the past, I guess now 3 years, has been a result of me taking a moment and drawing.
Uh-huh.
The stuff that I came out of the gates with, sort of, that showed up at the Out of Sight show and some of the stuff in our show together, those vertical lines, they all came from the process of drawing. I think what's weird is the sort of slippery nature of inspiration for me, and especially if I take time away, that motif or that language I want to speak with feels a little bit arcane when I come back to it. And that's something that I don't know if you ever experienced. Like, I can't do those lines, those vertical lines and organizations without feeling a little fraudulent right now, without feeling like I'm copying myself, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I never can go back to where I was. Never. And if I do, it looks really stilted.
Yeah,
Can't do it. I
yeah.
totally get that. I I always have this sort of war with color versus neutrals. And there's a piece of me that's really drawn to colorlessness, but the other piece of me just rebels against that and explodes into color. And so the more I try to be subtle, the less subtle I am. It's almost
Uh,
like I have a war with myself over color, and color always rules. It always wins.
yeah,
It's seductive. It's just like, it
yeah.
just, yeah, it grabs me. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about, my wife and I, about, we were at some house recently, and there was a lot of white and white on white, and I found it to be at one point very peaceful and calming, another point like not just boring but sort of like easy, you know. And so like I'm so torn. Like there's part of me that loves that white, creamy aesthetic of things. You know, I love a Robert Ryman painting, you know, that white on white. But I just, every time I try to go there, it feels different. It's a little bit similar. I don't know how you feel, but sometimes when I'm making a piece of work, I hit it really quickly, but it comes too quickly and I have to destroy it because somehow it shouldn't be so quick, you
That
know?
happens to me a lot too, right? For me, the fabric is always my jumping off point.
Yeah,
And the fabric is so beautiful to begin with
yeah,
that sometimes I feel like it's too easy if I just go with where the fabric goes.
I
It's
got
sort
you.
of like I have to impose myself on it,
Yeah,
and I'm not always sure how to do that. Um, fabric is a weird thing. It's like there was already an artist there who
yeah,
made this thing, and I'm kind of working with that artist.
yeah. Yeah, no, no, I understand that. I used to do mosaics for a lot of years in my life, and my mosaics are kind of like the way you did your fabric. You do your fabric work in that I always look for a pattern and that I would work with, and then a non-pattern to be a foil to the pattern pieces. And then I kind of would draw with those those pieces of the work. But I would put those patterns together, and I can see where that's sort of similar, and you're making some lyrical sort of relationship between them all.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I hear what you're saying, because like, we were talking about that once. I used to do mosaics too, and um,
Too hard on the hands.
yeah. The weird thing for me though with fabric, and sometimes when I was printmaking with color, is that sometimes I just liked the thing that just exploded, you know, on my counter, on my glass when I was working. It was just like the mess was better than anything that I could impose on what I was trying to do. I just, like, the mess was really great. But I kept thinking, oh, Betz, you got to get past that mess. But it was beautiful.
You know, I have had moments where I've actually gotten in touch with the thing that I'm making. When the few times when I do try to do perceptual work, and there's this really magical, like the space between me and the thing that I'm looking at it gets energized. And I have found these really neat moments. I don't do much of that because I do get distracted. And
you're working figuratively,
yeah,
as opposed to abstractly.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen for you when you're working abstractly?
Yeah, it does in a different way. Yeah, in the abstract thing, I get this moment where I feel like I'm making a world, and sort of diving into sort of my own version of what the universe is, or the in between part of the particles are, or things like that. You know, I either go macro or micro, but so I do get that feeling and that vibe. I kind of wondered that at one point, do I feel like I need to be more socially conscious of the work that I do? And maybe I will. I've always thought about throwing words in there, but that's really loaded. I'm not sure I'm prepared for words. I used to write poetry on undergraduate. I had a creative writing degree, or minor. And I felt so exposed when I did that sort of thing that I went to painting. I felt like I could hide behind the paint more than I could the words. The words just felt really very, I felt very naked doing that. And so the same thing goes when I put words out of my paintings. I feel very exposed if I do that. So
that's interesting, and totally understandable. I mean, the thing about words is once they're out there, you can't take them back. You know, there's something about words that's so set in stone. I don't know. You can't misinterpret. Well, people can misinterpret them, but like paintings are people can bring so much to abstract work of their own stuff. But when you have a word in there,
yeah,
it changes that hugely. It's like the painting is about that word. I hear you, because I was trying to do those collages about resist, and I kept seeing resist. It's like that's all I could see.
Yeah.
And I felt it was limiting too. I think that we're all going to be changed from this experience, and in very interesting ways.